Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here and welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with a new short movie. The name of this short movie is What If Naruto Was a Blessing from the Gods? And yeah guys, it is an unscripted short movie and my own idea. Now before continuing this, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel and follow me on my other channel Meta What Ifs as well. Now without any further ado, let's begin with our today's short movie. Our story begins in the heavenly domains of Kami, Yami and Shinigami, where the three goddesses were sat together across one another and were discussing the future of the people of Chakra, meaning the people of Elemental Nation. As now we see, there was a momentary pause because they did not know what to do with these people. They were arrogant. Some of them were kind, but only a handful bunch, and they too were betrayed over and over again. And to be honest, Yami and Shinigami were close to giving up on them, as Kami then decided, after a moment of thinking, that it was time. I think it is time that we send a blessing once more into this world. As both Yami and Shinigami's eyes widened and then narrowed at Kami. Are you insane? You know what happened to the last blessing that we sent thousands of years ago? That poor child died due to the conflicts of its families. Do you wish to do the same with this blessing? We vowed that time we won't send any more blessings to this world. And I think that is the reason why the world has gone as it has gone down the drain. Because of the death of the last blessing, at least there were a few minor changes. Not the changes that we wanted, but there were. This time, in the already developed land, there is a high chance that it will be good for the whole Elemental Nation if we send the blessings down there. Only one, not many, only one will be allowed to be sent there, like the last time. Alright then, so we have an agreement. Yes we do, but where to send? As that is when Kami closed her eyes and then opened them with a smile on her face. Who else? Konoha, Minato no Mikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. The couple are expecting a child. Both of them had a traumatic event of past, in which one was an orphan, the other became an orphan. And they vowed on my name that they, if ever had a family, will do anything and everything in their power to protect the said family. Alright then. As that is when it was decided that the soul that was to be, sent down as their son will be their blessing. And so, we see another person appeared in the light. Greetings, Kami-sama, Yami-sama, Shinigami-sama. What are you doing here? Hagoromo Otsutsuki. You have no right to be here. As of today, I apologize, but there is a little misunderstanding here. The child that you have chosen is the child that I was going to choose as the child of prophecy. There is no need for the child of prophecy any longer. The blessing we are sending down there would stop the conflicts without any war or without any, bloodshed at all. His enemies will turn allies towards him. Everyone will be drawn towards him, even if he is oblivious to it, to some extent. As Hagoromo then agreed. As that is when he then asked one question. Can I ask you a question? No. If it is about that, we would not answer. That is in only our domain. All you can do is watch and see for yourself. As now we see, Hagoromo nodded, with a sad smile on his face, and then left. As after that we go towards the Elemental Nation, where we see it was October 10th and night time. Minato and Kushina tonight were expecting a child of theirs to be born. As we see, far away from Konoha, in a secluded location, Minato was pacing back and forth, as Kushina was crying in labor because she was giving birth to Naruto on the other side. And soon after, a few minutes passed, a crying of a child was heard as Minato dashed inside to see, in the hands of Biwako Sarutobi, the in charge of this whole operation, with some nurses, was a blonde-haired boy with blue eyes that seemed very innocent. As Minato picked the boy up in his arms and hugged him close. My son. Our son, Kushina. Naruto. Yes, I know, Minato, said a tired Kushina. As Baku then said, Now, Minato, give the child here and wait us outside. But I know, but the first rule of this all is that the woman gets to hold her child first. not the man. And even still, we allowed you to hold him first. I say, sorry, Kushina. Anyways, I'll be waiting outside. As Minato was about to leave, a gasp was heard as a man appeared on the other side. In one arm of his was Naruto. As Biwako and the others were now on high alert alongside with Minato with Kushina. As a kunai was pointed towards the child, as everyone halted in their place. Don't you dare move if you wish for the child to live. Who are you, and what do you want? Who am I is not a thing you should worry about. As for the child, you should. What do you want? What do I want, you ask? Only one thing. The Jinchuriki. If you think that I would just hand Kushina over to you, you're insane. As Kushina then said, I will go. What? What do you mean by that? Protect our son, Minato. You remember that we vowed, right? But that doesn't mean that I will be fine. As now we see, Kushina went towards the man. As the man threw the child, as Minato caught him in an instant. As after that, Minato handed the child over to Biwako and the others to send them away and alert the others. As soon as they left, we see that Minato dashed after the man and arrived at the place where Kushina was tied up and was ready for the extraction of the Biju. But as soon as the seal was opened, we see that before the forceful extraction could happen, Minato kicked the man on the face, sending him flying towards the other side. Kushina, the seal. Minato, the seal is opened. As Minato tried to close the seal, but it was already too late, as the orange chakra shot out, and the Kyuubi was freed. Seeing that his plan has anyways been successful, the man then, using his abilities and dojutsu, casted a genjutsu on the Biju and ordered it to destroy the village, as the Biju started rampage and began to move towards the village. As on the other side, Minato dashed and picked up his wife and dashed back to safety, as Biwako and the others went to their work and began to heal none other than Kushina herself, as Minato then looked towards his child and towards the Biju. I have no other choice. Minato, are you going to make Naruto the Jinchuriki? Yes. Then promise me you won't use the Hakai Fuyin seal. Tell Hiruzen-sama to use this seal instead. As a scroll was thrown towards Minato, as he opened and his eyes widened. It was an easy seal matrix, but being done by two people, it was 2 times the force. As Minato then narrowed his eyes and agreed to this, and charged towards the battlefield. On the front lines, we see that Hiruzen Saruto, with the retired Sandaime Hokage, who was forced to take the charge again, and was leading the people in the form of a protecting line and barrier between his village and the Biju. But the people, they too were afraid until Minato arrived with a child in his arm. Hiruzen-sama, catch! Read these hand seals, we don't have much time. We have to use these to seal the Biju within Naruto. But that is when something interesting happened. The Biju became more agitated because of the genjutsu, seeing that it was about to be sealed. But that is when a little bit of more interesting thing happened. As Naruto's eyes opened once more to see the commotion, and out of curiosity, his gaze met with the Kyuubi's. As the genjutsu out of nowhere was broken, and the Kyuubi's narrowed slits were a little bit widened, as if it calmed down. There was no more roar, just silence everywhere, even if it was filled with people. As the Kyuubi moved closer towards Naruto, and let out hot breath from his nostril, as Naruto giggled. As Kurama looked at him with great curiosity before saying, "You." As both Hiruzen and Minato was shocked that the Biju could speak. If you are going to make him my Jinchuriki, then I agree and chose him as my Jinchuriki. What happened to you? It was a genjutsu. And only one person can do this, an Uchiha. Nonsense, we didn't. You Uchihas can't, but the Uchihas from the past can. I believe someone has stolen Madara Uchiha's eyes, or it was that cursed bastard. As this caused everyone to gasp, visibly the Uchihas who were shaken, the most strongest Uchiha recorded ever in the history. His Sharingan was either now stolen or he was alive living in the shadows, the worst enemy of his own clan and of Konoha. The Uchihas and their leader was quite fearful of that man, and so was the whole Konoha. As now we see Minato and Hiruzen then look towards the Biju, who looked towards at them. Do it. And hearing that, we see that Kurama then nuzzled with the kid as the kid giggled once more, as a smile appeared on Kurama's face. Not a ferocious one. I like this boy. and I vow to protect him and help him, and even this village, as long as he resides in it. With that being said, the Biju itself was sealed within Naruto, but without limitation, seeing as if Naruto was chosen by the Biju itself. As after that was done, we see that both Hiruzen and Minato look towards one another. What the hell was that, Minato? I don't know. It seems as if the Biju chose Ajin Churiki for itself, and it was my son. As many of the shinobis were also murmuring against one another, but Fugaku then said, Hokage-sama, Minato, Hiruzen-sama, have you forgotten what the Biju said about it being in their genjutsu from him? Yeah, that is quite frightening. We have to call for a council meeting. Yes, my clan. Not only my clan, but the whole village is in danger. That man is an endangerment to both of us. Calm down, Fugaku. Nothing will happen. He appeared out of nowhere, Minato. Something will happen. If not today, then some other day. We have to be very wary of this man and take precautionary measures. Oh, we will. You don't need to worry about that. As this was going on, we go towards Toad Mountain, where we see Jiraiya was currently busy being yelled at again by Fukusaka and Shima, known as otherwise the Elder Toads of the Toad Clan, as they too had an elder who called upon them, as all the toads were gathered there, and so was, well, Jiraiya. And after arriving in Gamamaru-sama's room, they were all shocked to find out that Gamamaru-sama was fully awake and smiling brightly and cheerfully for once. Rejoice, my people, because a blessing has been born once more. As everyone's eyes widened after hearing that. As after hearing that, everyone was shocked. What do you mean by that, Gamamaru-sama? Asked Jiraiya. A blessing is some soul that is a blessing for all of us that reside in this world. Wherever that soul resides, everyone will be attracted towards that place, and whoever goes there will find himself at peace, and not only at peace, in prosperity as well. A blessing in the past was sent to stop the wars, but it died due to the conflicts of a family that I cannot speak because it was the will of Kami themselves. As now we see, everyone's eyes widened when they heard this. But due to that, let's just say, the evils of the family were defeated and the good spread out the chakra and formed the elemental nations. And as you have heard from the history, in the early eras of the elemental nations, everything was at peace. Yes, we all remember that. So you mean to say that the prophecy from before, yes, it has become invalid, since the blessing in itself has been sent to us directly from the Kami, Yami, and Shinigami-sama, and we should honor it and cherish it. As with that news, Jiraiya then said, I have to go back to Konoha then. Of course, Jiraiya. Go so as well. As on the other side, back in Konoha, we see that inside the mindscape, Naruto's mindscape was different. Instead of, well, a sewer-like state, or, well, a magma on which a rock was tying the Biju, it was actually a wide field where a cool breeze was blowing with waterfall nearby and a huge cave in which Kyuubi could reside. As currently Kyuubi was quite at peace within this state. As that is when we see Hagoromo appeared in the mindscape. Father, what do I owe the pleasure of your visit? It seems you are enjoying your new home, Kurama. Yes, even if I hate imprisonment, I am happy at least I was able to choose this time who was going to be my Jinchuriki. Kurama, the child you are sealed in is a blessing from Kami, Yami, and Shinigami. A blessing, but you told me what happened in the past when a blessing was born in your family. We all know, our little brother, Natsu, Otsutsuki. He wanted peace in his own family, and we wanted to stop our mother, and mother wanted it too. Well, never mind. In the end, he sacrificed himself. He absorbed our attacks and turned himself into a stone that cracked in front of very of our own eyes. And that was it, for us to push ourselves to some extent, and for mother to drop her guard until we sealed her away. I'm fearful of this child. Faith, Kurama. Promise me you will protect this child, no matter what happens. As Kurama's eyes narrowed after listening to the story, I will protect this child, father. Even if you haven't said to me that, I still would have. This child is my ward and my protection now. I will protect him, and I'm pretty sure Minato and Kushina will do the same. As after that we see in the council meeting, as this was going on, we see Jiraiya bursted in through the door. As everyone was shocked to see him. Jiraiya, a council meeting is going on. Please, have some manners. As this was not all, suddenly a huge stomping sound was heard until everyone saw that Tsunade was also marching towards that place. And surprisingly enough, even Orochimaru was, and both of them had some expressions on their faces. As Tsunade then said, Sensei, I have a great news to tell you. I have a great news for you all. And I think As he stopped, looking towards the other two, it seems that I'm not needed here, said Orochimaru with a smile on his face, as if you two have already been revealed of this news. Yes, we have, but do you know who the child is? What do you mean by that? My spies are within your village. What? Said many of the elders. Not the point. As I was saying, and they were witnessing some turns of events, and that were more than enough of evidence from which I have concluded that your child, Minato, your and Kushina's, is the blessing. As Jiraiya as well as Tsunade's eyes widened, what do you mean by that? What events happened? Actually, the QB calmed itself down and, well, talked to us for the first time. And not only that, chose Naruto to be his Jinchuriki. As that is when we see QB's head appeared as he looked towards the three Sanin and everyone in the chakra-like state. And I request from all of you to not speak of this to anyone, especially you, Orochimaru. If this news is leaked out, there could be war for him. And I have vowed to my father that I would literally go through hell to protect this child. He is my ward and protection. I am his ally now. Remember that. I am not here to cause any mess or trouble. I am here to study and monitor this child, just to see what kind of changes he would bring. Do you think we would allow you to be anywhere near the child after what you have done? Then go ahead. Punish me as much as you want. I will remain here. You can seal my chakra away. I know what I have done in the past is unforgivable, but I have only experimented on those people who were corrupted and the enemies of Konoha. I have more than enough proofs to prove it. Seriously, then why did you run away? Because you all betrayed me. You didn't even bother to listen to my side of the story. And that is the whole reason why I did. As that is when we see Orochimaru, using a scroll, presented the evidence, as each and every one of his victims were indeed somehow involved, and it was after some investigation of a few months while Orochimaru was placed in a prison, confirmed later on, and so he was allowed to reside once more back into the village, as his teammates and his sensei apologized to him, and so did the people of Konoha, and his student uncle. As now we see, Naruto began to grow up, and people in Konoha begin to notice some few changes. The land was much more prosperous than before. Wealth was coming in, and not only that, there hasn't been a single skirmish with anyone else, and all the clans were much more fertile, as well as getting stronger as well. And much more than that, there was just this peaceful air surrounding the whole village that didn't allow anyone to have a headache or any disease whatsoever at all. As if something was blessing them, and everyone knew what it was. It was the blessing from Kamiyama and Shinigami themselves. Their blessing in the form of Naruto. And talking about that child, whoever he made friends with, well, obviously was drawn towards him. Even the wild animals from Forest of Death, which was quite dangerous, used centipedes and whatsoever or not. Whenever Naruto was resting, he was a hot spot for animals to be nearby, and resting near him, indicating and solidifying much more that he indeed was the blessing from Kamiyama and Shinigami, and he and Konoha were not alone in on this. You see, in the night time, moon would brightly shine towards Naruto, as one person was watching him from afar that Kurama didn't like one bit. And that person was Kaguya Otsutsuki, and she was watching this child in tears, in remembrance of her own child, a blessing in her own right that was granted to her after the betrayal from humans. And in order to protect her children, she went to extreme lengths, and in the end her own children wanted to protect the same people who have hurted her and tried to harm them in the past. As now we see, she contacted Zetsu. Zetsu, my child. Mother, what is it? Follow my light, and you will find a child that you must protect this time. He is the reincarnation of your brother. A blessing like him. Blessing for all of us. And I'll be damned if something happens to him this time around. But what about yourself, Mother? My goal was to free you. I don't care of being freed. I am at peace knowing that that child will get a second chance to live. And my presence, if it brings chaos there, then I myself should remain here, my child. But what about the Akatsuki, Mother? They were created for the goal of freeing you. And the child that you are mentioning, he might be one of the Jinchuriki targets. Never say that. The child shouldn't be harmed at any cost. He is the blessing from Kamiyama and Shinigami that will change this world for good. The hatred written in this world will be destroyed. Tell this to the Akatsuki, that they are to protect this child. Because for some reason, Kamiyama and Shinigami, having still some hope left in us, have blessed us with a blessing of theirs. As after that we see, Zetsu was left in a great turmoil. On one point he wanted to free his mother, but on the other side, after hearing her own words, he knew what he had to do. So he called for a Akatsuki meeting. Why have you called for this? I have to inform you of something. I created this Akatsuki for a single purpose. What do you mean you created? I exist from the age of the sage of the sixth path. I am nobody's will, except for my own mother's, Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of the sage, and I. As everyone's eyes widen, and my goal was simple, and that was to free my mother. Ten-tail is an extension of my mother's power, as you all use a part of it as well, as chakra. As everyone's eyes widen, if this was the whole world using the chakra, which was a part of her power, then how strong she was actually. And even if the ten-tail was also the power of her as well. Why reveal this to us? A blessing in this world has been born, everyone, that will bring peace to this elemental nation. So you're saying we're no longer needed? Yes, to some extent. What I want you to is go near that child and see for yourself. Because only then you will realize what I am talking about. As after that, one by one all of them left, even, well, the masked person who was involved in the attack. He felt oddly satisfied when he was holding the child, as if all the pain that was holding in his heart had gone by. As now we see, they were all standing inside Naruto's room, while he was resting, and his parents were resting downstairs. As one of them lifted up a barrier so nobody could get inside. As soon as Naruto opened his eyes to look at them, as if all of their pain, all their hatred that was on their body was washed over, and nothing more than peace and calmness surrounded them. The tiredness took over their body, the tiredness of keeping all that baggage with them, of the past trauma. As Nagato then said, we are disbanding the Akatsuki for the sake of the Moonlight Plan. But if we want to move forward with this organization, that is to make sure that peace is preserved in the elemental nation. No longer are we any more puppets of anyone. We work for peace, and peace alone. Now I guess I can finally fulfill my dream of being a opening a firecracker business. A puppeteer sounds about right. After all, these are the arts that I master. As that is when the immortals then said, to hell with this. I don't see anything special in this child. As these two were currently the only ones who were seeing this the other way. Well, Kisame then said, even Samihara approves of this child, which means that this child is something special. I don't see why you don't see it. Anyways, As after all of them, the real leader stepped forward, the masked person, as he then said, "All of you, leave. Even you, Zetsu." As all of them nodded and left. As now we see, the masked person took off his mask and looked towards the child. "Why were you not born before? I just wish that you were born before the third grade shinobi war. At least you would have been here." As now we see, a finger moved towards the child, as the child hand grabbed onto that finger, as Obito cried himself, as he then said, "What I was about to do, man. This isn't me. I was being manipulated. So was he, by Zetsu. I promise nobody will harm you." As on the other side, the door began to bang. As suddenly, Obito, who revealed himself to be, dropped the arm barrier, as his parents entered inside alongside with Anbus, as immediately they gasped to see who was standing there with tears in his eyes. "It's been a long time, Sensei. Kushina-san. Bakashi," he said, while choking on his own tears, as all of them witnessed that Naruto was holding on to his finger. As Minato and Kushina moved towards him. "Obito?" "Yes. I was rescued after that." As Obito took off his jacket to reveal, half of my body was destroyed. This is thanks to Hashirama cells and nature rehabilitation abilities that I was able to gain half control over my body that was destroyed. And you, Bakashi, I don't know what to say to you. As Kakashi looked down, "I apologize, Obito. I didn't mean for that to happen." As Kushina then said, "It was an accident." Kakashi was trying to fulfill his promise and protect her. I was there as well that night, and I was shocked to see that she jumped in between the attack. Rin did. Turns out, Kakashi later revealed that he rescued her from Kiri Shinobi, who were going to use her as a bomb of her own. She was going to go explode and release the three tails after entering the village. And I took down of the person who was controlling the seal, but after doing so, when I was reaching for the kids, it was already too late. She sacrificed herself, not only for Kakashi but for the village, for your memory's sake." As Obito's eyes went, "What do you mean by that?" "She confessed to me that she loved you, and realized only after that you were gone that you were the only one who loved her back." As Obito shedded some more tears, and after that it was a tearful reunion for them. As Naruto, meanwhile, was smiling and chuckling at that. As now we see, time began to pass by as Naruto reached at the age of 13, as he was now, wherever he went, was with the fox that was always resting on his shoulder, on his head, with 9 tails behind it. Kurama could form an avatar of chakra and could be in the real world. And the villagers at that point didn't mind, because they adored Naruto and the fox to some extent now. It was quite, well, shocking for the whole village that the fox that they once feared and were quite scared of to death was now nothing more than their mascot of the village. And not only that, the villagers adored him. Even the kids did as well. And obviously, seeing that the kids were innocent, Kurama couldn't do anything. As now we see, Naruto was currently heading back home from the academy, and he was being followed suit by his friends, Sasuke and many others. "Hey Naruto, how about we go over to my place and, have some tomato eating contest once more. Maybe later, Sasuke." "Huh? How come? You always enjoy eating tomatoes, don't you?" "Of course I do. It's just that, well, my Tochan and Kachan are going to travel to Land of Fire to meet with the other Kages and daimyos there. It is a daimyo meeting, and each and every Kage and his family should be present there. So I guess I have to go with them." "Seriously? You better make sure that none of the hussies try to get close to you, Naruto," said Ino as she jumped in. She quite liked Naruto, to be honest, because Naruto was the kindest soul to her, and always called her pretty and whatnot. And as for Hinata, well, she and Kiba were set for life, let's just say that. And Sakura was still into Sasuke, but she was also seeing Naruto as a sibling of a sort, so yeah, that's the extent of it. But they were all close-knit friends as well. As Sasuke then said, was like a brother to Naruto. Jeez, man. Being a Hokage really sucks, doesn't it? I mean, we can't even spend some time together when we have free time after all that years that we spent by training and studying. I guess you're right. But you know what? I'll be really happy if someday you'll be able to become a Hokage. You don't want to be? Nah. I've seen my Tojan, and, well, let's just say, as Shikamaru would say, it's a drag. Hey, you know, I don't like you copying that. Right? As after that we see Naruto saying goodbye to his friends arrived at his home where his family was already waiting. Ready, son? Always ready. As now we see two of their guards arrived there, and that were none other than Obito and Kakashi, his Nisans. Ah, Obito Nisan, Kakashi Nisan, you're here. Of course we are, Naruto. We're gonna go and head towards the Elemental Nation now. Psst, Obito Nichan. What is it, Naruto? How's things going on around with Anko? As Obito face faulted, as Obito then said, how do you know about that? As the others also chuckled at it. We all know, Obito, even if you were trying to hide that. As Obito looked down and said, hey, no need to be sad. I'm pretty sure Rin would be happy that you have moved on. You really think so? Of course. I mean, you want to betray Anko after all the things that you have done to her? No. You know that she loves to play with snakes, right? You don't want that to end up somewhere where the sun doesn't shine. Yeah. Yeah. I love her, but she scares the hell out of me sometimes. Yeah. Word of advice? Always treat her with dango whenever she's pissed. Got it. As after that we see, all of them chuckled and went towards the land of fire, where they met with the fire daimyo and the other daimyos as well, as Naruto instantly began to form bonds with all of them. As to their surprise, even the demon cat known as Tora was also quite peaceful around Naruto, as Naruto met with the, well, entourage of the other Kages, as B and Yusto were from Kumo, and Mei had Ao as well as Jojiro. And as for Onigi, it was his son Aoki as well as Kurotosuchi. As now we see that all of them were in a separate room as Naruto went there. At first some of them were hostile, but as soon as Naruto began to talk, they began to open up. And the cherry on top was that allowed them to break the ice was that Kyuubi in itself appeared and laid down in Naruto's, well, lap as Naruto began to stroke his ear. As the other two Jinchurikis, which were Matatabe as well as Gyuki, were also surprised, as they told the Jinchurikis to go near there. As soon as they arrived near, Kurama opened his eyes and talked. What do you two want? As Matatabe then also materialized in the same state as did Gyuki. Who would have thought that Kurama, of all the people, would be like this, cuddling to his own Jinchuriki? As the other also got curious and listened into it closely. He is my ward. And you remember what happened in the past, right? What happened? The blessing. As their eyes went, you mean that, the rumored? As Kurama nodded. As Kurama then looked towards everyone, I do not care if you know this or not, but know this. His presence is important, not only for Konoha, but for all of you as well. As Kurotosuchi then said, how come it is important? As Gyuki, of all people, then revealed, you see, back in the past, the chakra in itself and the beginning stages of the elemental nation as you know of it now began because there was a blessing. It was born in the family of the sage as his younger brother. And as you know, the rabbit goddess his mother, and sage himself went to war to save the humanity. He wanted peace for his family, Natsuo Tsuzuki, our youngest uncle. And he absorbed both of the devastatingly attacks that could have destroyed this earth in itself and turned himself into stone. But before they could save him, the stone began to form crack and exploded, taking his life. As their eyes widened, and only because of that, our grandmother, Kageo Tsuzuki, well, dropped her guard and let her defenses down because her royal and lovely little boy was dead because of her. The brothers with a heavy heart had to seal their mother away on the rock that you call Moon. As everyone's eyes wide, so she's still out there? Yes, she is. But I doubt that she would do anything to this child. Why do you think that, Kurama? As Yuki also wanted to know, and so did everyone else. As Naruto then said, what do you mean by that? That she won't try to do anything. I think she sees you as her son. I have witnessed multiple times that the moon was shining brightly in your room while you rested. Do you think so? But now, Kurama, what is it? Won't it be lonely for her to only remain there? I mean, I could meet her if there's no kid. You don't have to. You don't know what kind of atrocities she has committed. If it was for her, the ten-tailed monster wouldn't have been created. And that monster was strong enough just with a screech of his capable of destroying a village. As everyone's eyes widen. As that is when Naruto and the others begin to talk, while on the other side, Kages were having a meeting of their own. And surprisingly enough, this time around, they were finally able to come to some peaceful clarifications and to a ceasefire. And as all the Kages made their way towards the lobby where their entourage was waiting, they were shocked to see that Naruto and the others were all talking to one another and laughing. As Oniki then said, what the hell is going on here? As Mei was also surprised, and so was A. As at that time, Naruto arrived there. Are we ready to go? Oh, greetings to all of you, Kage-samas. As after that, Minato and Kushina smiled and beamed at their child before leaving with Naruto. As Naruto waved goodbye to his friends that he was able to create in such a short span of time. As after that, as the other Kages begin to move back towards their home, they begin to ask the same question to their entourage. What was that? And who was that child? And soon all the answers to them was given, as they were shocked to find about this. And as they researched from their monks and whatnot, it was confirmed later on from the ancient text itself about the Natsu Otsutsuki, and Natsu being the reincarnation of Naruto. It was the signs that were present in Konoha that was the indication of that. And so, putting aside their hatred, they moved forward with a plan to form an alliance with Konoha. An alliance that would be beneficial for them. At first, it was out of, well, greed that they too would be peaceful and filled with strength. But as soon as the alliance was created, all that left their heart. As soon, Naruto's peacefulness spread throughout the whole elemental nation, as if the blessing was spread out. And as soon as it did, the temples, the daimyos, as well as the monks of all the nations were at peace, and were always happy and smiling. There was no disease, no famine whatsoever, no poverty or hunger. Everyone loved one another and was at peace as well. All the while, Naruto in his sleep was capable enough of meeting face to face with none other than Kage Otsutsuki, who was in tears of seeing Naruto and had a smile on her face. As Naruto, without saying anything, just dashed towards her and gave her a hug. As Kage then said, my Natsu, you're finally back. As Naruto changed into the form of Natsu again, this time revealing that he indeed was the same blessing that was reincarnated in the form of Naruto this time. It's been a long time, Mother. I'm happy to see that you're doing well, although a little sad that you are sealed here in such conditions. As after that, Kage didn't say anything, just hugged their little boy close, and finally let it all out. And after that, they began to talk and reminisce about the old times until Hagoromo and Homura both appeared and apologized to their mom and to their brother. As Natsu hugged them again, as the family of the sage once more had a reunion, as he looked towards Kamiyama and Shinigami and smiled at them, thanking them that it was finally allowed for them to at least have a peace as well. As all of this was going on, the elemental nation itself was also being peaceful. But as everyone knows, peace cannot be maintained. A new type of chaos appeared. And that appeared when Naruto reached at the age of 20 and became handsome and tall. A shinobi still, but he didn't kill anyone. Never has and never will. That was his motto. As now we see, the chaos was when the time came for his marriage. Ino obviously was quite well possessive of him, since she was closest to him since the youngest of age. But she wasn't alone. Joining her was Yuichiro, Kurotsuchi, as well as, well, many other. So from Suna, it was, well, Temari herself. And in the end, it came to a conclusion that Naruto needs to be in a clan restoration act, since he was the last of the Uzumaki males that was present there alongside with the Namikaze clan. And so Naruto with the blushing mess was allowed to have multiple wives, so that there could be peace. And Naruto, being Naruto, vowed that he would make each and every one of his wife happy. As 5 years went by, it indeed became true. All of them were indeed happy. Naruto respected them, treated them equally, and lovingly as well. And not only that, had kids with them as well, which were the sign of their affection and love for one another. And in the end, due to the blessing of Kami, Yami, and Shinigami, peace preserved the whole elemental nation. And as for the Akatsuki, the remaining one, they too were at peace and were in the alliance, and was now regening over the Amegakure, turning it towards prosperity for the better. And as for Obito, let's just say he too was happy, and Zetsu returned back to his mother, and was also indicated to his family, and was forever indebted to his youngest oldest brother, Natsu, for that. Naruto in the form of Natsu sometimes would visit the family as well, and they would still sit back and enjoy talking to one another, as the peace in its truest form for everyone was achieved. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this short movie off, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if you did, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. As this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing off for the day. Peace.